I guess like my personal style is more so what I'm like afraid of, like I have to change, or like who I am as like a person, more so than like if that makes sense. Like that's what like my difficulty has been is like I feel like I can't. I understand like the separation. I feel like that would be good for me, honestly. Like having that separation and having that like clear, like those clear boundaries is something that I want and need. It's just like I, I don't know. Like I've just had like I feel like I've like had to like just kind of like play like a different person. I don't know if that's like if I have to like or whatever or yeah.
Mm, interesting. And I'm going through this with another student of mine right now, who's also non-binary. So, maybe I'm sure that like going through that experience in your personal life probably has some impact on work. I imagine. I don't know because I've not had that experience myself, but that's just some food for thought. Here's another way to think about this as well, because what I'm talking about with my other student is really pretty similar to this topic. If you were a photographer, right, let's take the nature of the service out of the equation. We're going to put it back in a moment because it is relevant. We can't just ignore the service that we're doing, but let's just use a different analogy for now. If you were a photographer and you really loved taking photos of landscapes, like, scenery, and that was your passion, and you took those photos all the time, and that's what made you feel good, that's what you were artistically drawn to, right?
Yeah.
But you're trying to make a living from photography, and your customers, they don't want landscape photos, they want portraits done of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can say, well, I'm just not going to do those portraits because I'm a landscape photographer. You have that choice at any time. What you
Yeah.
have to make the decision about is if you're in a market that only wants portraits, you have to decide, are you doing photography to generate your income? And therefore you're going to do what earns you money when you're working, but you can of course still do your landscape photography on your own time, but you just accept that you're not going to get paid for it because you can't force customers to want something that they don't want. Or is your style of photography so important that you actually don't need to or want to make as much money from that because you're just going to stick to landscape? And, maybe every now and then a customer comes along that does want a landscape photo. Do you see what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not it's not about the photographer that there's something wrong with wanting to do landscape. It's just that if you have customers that want portrait, but you do landscape, well, you just simply have an option, a choice to make. Do you, for work, do what the customer wants, which is still photography, and know that you're giving them a great experience and you're going to get paid, which then funds your ability to probably do the landscape? Or do you say, well, no, I'm just not going to see those customers. I'm only going to do landscape. Like, again, there's no right or wrong. It's just deciding, what are you here to do? Do you want to earn income? Okay, yes, then we need to find a way, if you want to do it using this vehicle, to not change who you are, but just to communicate and provide your service in a way that people are actually going to pay for. And that might mean being a bit flexible. And I'll talk to you about what I'm doing with this other student in a moment. But it's just recognizing that there's nothing wrong with showing up and doing a job and giving a customer what they're looking for so that you can earn income and then go back to your life and live your life the way that you want to.
Yeah.
What do you
No,
think?
I think that makes sense. And like I really like that analogy. Yeah. I think yeah, like I would want to take portraits and then go back to like taking landscapes like on my own time and like have that like I think like that's what I would want to do. Like it's actually so funny because like in my day, whatever, like I am a photographer and I actually am doing this because I don't want to do I don't want to do anything besides what I want to shoot. Which is why I
That was a total fluke analogy, by the way. I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
no, it's so funny. But it's like no, in this analogy, I would choose I would choose doing the commission work or like like that in order to get paid so I can fund like whatever I want to do. Um, I think like for like in this case, like that's what I need to do. I think I didn't quite realize, I guess, that I had to do that. I think, and I was trying not to. And I think like it's just been a lot of like, I think like also like just like a lot of like coming to terms with like like a lot of like identity crisis stuff. I feel like, honestly, as of late that I've been dealing with.
That's fair. And I just want to catch you on some wording then. You don't have to do it. I want to make that super clear. And that's what's the beautiful thing about this is you have total choice. And I'll give you another analogy that's now personal to me and very close to home about what we're talking about, the actual job. So as an escort, when I was working, there were all the time sexual things that I was doing that, to be honest, I had no interest in doing and certainly didn't do in my personal life with boyfriends. Now, I didn't have to do that, but I made the decision that, you know what, I'm here to earn money and to provide an experience to my customer. This isn't about me, Isabel, having my sex life. Actually, I do that in my own time with my partners, or if I was single, you know, with hookups that I was having. But when I was in the room with the customer, I wasn't there to satisfy my sexual needs, because if we were, we would have a very different interaction and they probably wouldn't be as satisfied because I'd be a selfish lover. But in the room, I made the decision that this isn't about my sexual gratification. I'm here to earn money, and therefore there are going to be some things that I do that I usually don't do at home, but also vice versa. Like there were things that I wouldn't do with clients that I would do in my personal life because only I can make that decision. And so bringing it back to you now, you don't have to do anything. Any boundary that you have that you don't want to cross, even in a work setting for commercial reasons, is totally fine. Like everybody performs a different sort of service. It's just acknowledging the consequences of that. Like some people will do a more extensive list of sexual services, for example, and they might be able to charge more for that. Like, for example, anal. Some girls will do anal and they can charge a lot of money for that. Other girls won't do it and therefore they don't charge extra, but that's their personal decision. There's no right or wrong. It's just accepting that, well, if you don't offer that service, you can't get customers who are willing to pay for it, and that's fine. You don't have to have every customer under the sun.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that.
No problem. And then lastly, on the identity stuff with this job, so someone else that I'm working with at the moment has very strong feelings on their identity and probably been, well, I don't know how long you've been going through what you're going through, but I get the sense from them that they're very comfortable with their non-binary status and probably lived that way for a long time. They also have really strong feelings about a certain sort of experience that they want to provide to clients, but unfortunately, it's not getting them very much work. But they're passionate about it. So my suggestion to them is, okay, let's not change your passion profile, I'm going to call it that, because it does get them occasional work. You keep that if that makes you feel good, and when you get those clients, you feel awesome about it, great. But if you want to make X amount of money and you currently can't do it through your passion profile, why don't we have a second profile that's your work profile, your like persona, like a character that you step into to do a job. And we still keep it within the boundaries of what you're comfortable with. Like, you know, don't start doing things and become something that you're 100% not comfortable with. But let's come up with a persona that's more of a fit for a wider market that we can charge for, that you're comfortable stepping into for purely the purposes of work. So you basically tick the financial box, which then gives you the money for this person to come back and fund your passion profile, because right now, like, you're running out of money, and then also fund other projects that you might have. Like, this person has a lot of community aspirations, right, that they want to do, but they actually can't currently afford to fund it. So, you know, they're doing the financial profile so that they can go back and invest more in their personal passions. And to be honest, that's just life. That's what most people work for. They don't work because they love, like, specifically going to their job every day. They're working to fund the quality of life that they want, whatever that means.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I think that's what like, that's what I was, like, talking to my friend about, like, just having to, like, come up with a sort of, like, persona of sorts, like, speaking of, like, me in, like, an alternate universe or whatever, you know, like, type stuff, like, yeah, like I think figuring that out is the step I need to go in. I think like that was what the difference was like with like seeking. I didn't have to do that necessarily. I got away with not having to do that. And I think like with escorting, I think I really do need to like create a persona.
But to be honest, like I'm not sure your feelings on on all this identity stuff. But if it wasn't
Yeah.
escorting, right? Like, let's say you get to a point where you're like, "Fuck, I'm running out of money. I'm going to go and have to get a job." If you're working in an office, like, I mean, we have to put on. I don't know about you, if you've ever had like kind of mainstream jobs. I certainly have. I tell you what, I have
Right.
to put on a persona there. Like, I can't swear. Cunt is my favorite word. Can't say that in the office. Can't talk about my sex life. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
all have to adjust for where we are. That's just normal, like social behavior.
Yeah. I think yeah. No, I think it's that, yeah, I think it's just like I honestly I've just been so stubborn for so long and just like I have been out like as not binary for 9 years now. So it's like, yeah, I've been out for a while. I'm very certain of my identity and I think like that stubbornness, like I think like I don't like when you said like jeans, I don't like mostly baggy jeans. Like that actually was like something that multiple people have like brought up to me. Like, wow, you only wear baggy pants. Because that's just the way I like to dress, and it's just like stuff like that. Like I just like I think I need to like really like I quit. Like I don't know. Like I was able like, to get away with like seeking stuff like just only wearing just getting by with
Mm.
like what I had and with like some stuff and I think like I just need to actually like invest like actually like I was sort of using like some stuff to like use that make that a persona but I need to actually like invest and like make like a persona like of sorts because I like got rid of like all of my like if that makes sense like everything I have now is like remotely like professional or like everything I like is like stuff I like not like that I own is stuff that I like not like stuff that I like no necessarily is like classy, or if that makes sense, you know, like it's just stuff that so I think like that's where I've been like I just have to like just really like do that now. And I just haven't like I didn't want to, I didn't like I haven't been able to like admit to myself that like not admit to myself, but like just like been able to like I guess like recognize that I need to do that, I guess. Until like recently. And it's
Interesting.
like one of like things like I didn't like own like a bra and like a proper bra until like a month ago.
Hmm.
Like like stuff like that. Like it just like I just didn't like yeah, I don't know. Like so I think like yeah, like I think like yeah, I just need to like figure out like the persona I need to build. I think I'm like ready to do that. I think I wasn't before. I think like now I am at a place where I am like pretty ready to do that. And like I think I can. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. You might be surprised. I've got some ideas in terms of the style that we go for. Like, again, using this other person as an example, my other student,
Yeah.
it's possibly not the case that you have to like put on a super different persona. Like this other person I'm dealing with, let me just call them Sarah so I don't keep saying this other person. It's really annoying. Sarah. So, Sarah, when I looked at their photos, they actually had quite a range of different looks. And it wasn't that we needed to now get them to do this thing that was completely not them. It was actually just from a marketing perspective that we needed to pick one and amplify it. So, for example, using myself as an example, I've got lots of different styles. I'll be super casual, I can be more dressy, I can be more corporate. They're all looks that I might step into at an appropriate time. It's just when it comes to marketing to clients, because we're marketing a service, we need to pick one style of marketing that attracts a certain sort of customer. If you have all these different things going on, it becomes confusing to the customer and they don't pick you. It's kind of like Do you want to sell really high-end exclusive bags, or do you want to be a Kmart where you sell everything and then you just have to sell everything at a discount and you get a range of different customers trying to bargain with you? That's kind of the difference. So when I'm working with Sarah, what's surprising is, they probably felt like one of the boundaries they had for me was I don't want to change my appearance. I was like, okay, but when I looked at all their photos, there was actually some looks that they have that if we just isolated that style and amplified it, so just focused on that, we don't have to change anything about how they look. We just have to change how it's communicated to the customer. So same thing for me. I'm not going to have a profile showing them wearing my like gym outfit, which is what I wear probably like 80% of the time. Well, but I can have a profile focused on, this other style of clothing that I have that I actually do wear. I just don't wear it that often. So what I'm trying to say is you might be surprised that we might not be picking a persona for you that's like complete 180 from who you really are. It's actually better that we pick something that you do resonate with, but we just amplify it and we just market it probably just better than what you're doing now.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So before we move on, is there anything else you want to say on this topic?
No, I think that sounds so good. Thank you so much for talking about all that. Yeah.
That's okay. This mental side, emotional side is, people don't have business problems, they have life problems that affect their business. If we focus on the root cause, which is the life stuff, you'll find that the business stuff largely takes care of itself. We've had a conversation, we're on the same page. Now, when I talk to you about, okay, let's do this style of photos for this reason, you'll feel like that's a fit for me because, we're on the same page about it, as opposed to if I just said, hey, take these pictures and we hadn't had this discussion. So we're actually, it's not like this is additional to what we should be doing. This is really the work that any good business coach should be, to be honest, should be doing with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If you want to learn more escorting tips, just click the link below this video.